All right, so with that, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Global Power Platform Bootcamp Bangalore edition. So, warm welcome to everyone for arranging. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much to organizers for arranging the session, and warm welcome all of the attendees to be on the Saturday morning here to hear about Global Power Platform. All right, so the topic that we are going to cover today is step into the future using AI and Power Platform to boost the productivity. Because right now that we don't have any boundaries as such for Power Platform, SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft 365 in general, or Microsoft Azure AI, all those kind of thing. But nowadays that we are creating the solutions all together using every aspect of each of the Microsoft 365 apps or services as well as Microsoft 365 component. And again, since we are talking about Power Platform today, we are just going to showcase few of the things which you can combine from AI into the Power Platform. So we will go into no code, low code, all those kind of solutions. But definitely means Microsoft is investing huge onto the AI, and then again we do have various offering from Microsoft Azure Open AI as well. So in this session, we will quickly touch base upon like what are the various ways in which you will be able to infuse AI into your Power Platform solution, so that you won't be just creating the solutions which just has got a button and on click of button something will happen, but you will be able to use AI effectively, and then you will be able to use them in your day-to-day kind of an apps that you are developing for your customers. Okay, so this session will be kind of a startup point for you, wherein we will share some kind of an ideas with you how you can go ahead start using the AI into your Power Platform solutions. All right, so before we get started, quick introduction. Myself, Nandadeep Nathan. I'm from Pune, and I'm a Microsoft MVP as well as Microsoft certified trainer, author of three books, including SharePoint Framework, SharePoint Hybrid with SharePoint 2019, as well as Microsoft Viva Connections. And on to the right hand side, here are a few of the social media handles through which you can get in touch with me. For example, if you want to get in touch on LinkedIn or put a comment on my blog, go ahead and do that. And with me today is Smita.
Hello, all. Myself Smita Hassan. I'm from Pune, India. I'm a Microsoft MVP, Microsoft certified trainer. Also, I'm a speaker and author of these two books. So these are some of my social handles by which you can just get in touch with me.
All right, so with that, let us see the agenda that we are going to cover during this session. So all of you must be aware of OpenAI as well as Azure OpenAI, their offerings, their partnership together. But we will still touch base upon the concept of OpenAI as well as Azure OpenAI, and then we will see like how we can leverage the Azure OpenAI APIs into the Power Platform using custom connector, and there we will deep dive into like how we can use them into Power Apps as well as how you can use the chat completion API or maybe Dolly kind of an image generation with the Power Apps. Again, we will be touch basing upon the concept of AI offering for Microsoft Copilot Studio. So it is nothing but the Power Virtual Agent that you have been using so far, but it has entirely rebranded, and then we do have AI offerings there through where we will be able to go ahead and use the AI into the Microsoft Copilot Studio. All right, so with that, let's get started and let's discuss about what is OpenAI. Okay, so just the quick slide, like OpenAI is kind of a non-profit AI research company based out of US, and then their goal is to advance the digital intelligence in a way that it is most likely to benefit the humanity as a whole, so that we can have all of the models available into the AI for everyone, and they can start using those. So generating the natural language has got more capabilities. For example, you can summarize the complex text for different reading levels. You can have the suggestions around alternating wording for sentences, and there are many more use cases around that. So let's say, for example, even you can ask ChatGPT to go ahead, write a LinkedIn post about that you attended our session and it was great. Okay, all right. So again, there are various offerings available. For example, test completion as well as embedding that we're going to touch base today as well. So text completion is nothing but the it can go ahead generate the text based on the content which is available already into the LLM, as well as embedding is another part wherein you will be able to search, classify, and compare the text together. As well, it offers the capability to generate the code. So, for example, if you want to translate the code from one programming language into the another, or maybe if you want to identify or troubleshoot the bugs in the code, or even if you want to write a test cases for your code, you can use this code, specifically Codex model. Maybe it is used with GitHub Copilot, so that you will be able to go ahead write the code. So it is kind of an AI companion for you who can write and monitor the code alongside you, as well as it can help you to generate the images. And again, we do have one of the example of that, wherein we will be able to see how we can generate those images using DALL-E model and how we can utilize that into our Power Apps solutions. So it can help you to generate the images for any kind of an publication from the text description, and even you will be able to edit the images from there. So these are the things that we have got. So let us see like what are the Azure AI stack for developing all those kind of solutions.
So Azure AI is a collection of artificial intelligence services which are offered by Microsoft as a part of its Azure cloud platform. The Azure AI services are designed to make it easy for the developers and organizations to add AI capabilities to for their employees without the need for extensive expertise in AI. So Azure AI services are the tools for solving the AI workloads and can be categorized into three groupings like Azure Machine Learning Program, platform, cognitive services, and applied AI services. So Azure AI always includes a wide range of services such as Azure Machine Learning, which is a cloud-based platform that allows the developers to build, deploy, and manage the machine learning models, as well as to create a custom machine learning algorithms. The second one is the Azure Cognitive Services, which is a collection of pre-built APIs that allows the developers to add the capabilities such as the natural language understanding, computer vision, and the speech recognition to their application. So the third one is the Azure Applied AI Services, which is a suite of scenario-based services that enables the organization to accelerate the adoption, such as the Azure Cognitive Search, which provides the search capabilities over structured and unstructured data by using machine learning models. So these services are integrated with Azure platform, which provides the capabilities such as the scalability, security, and compliance, as well as many other tools and services that can be built and deploy AI-enabled applications. So the Azure Open AI services are designed to make it easy for the developers as well as for the organizations to add AI capabilities to their applications without the need for extensive expertise in AI area. So Microsoft Azure Open AI services allows the developers to quickly build, deploy, and scale AI-enabled applications and to take advantage of the scalability, security, and compliance capabilities of Microsoft Azure. So the Azure AI integration in AI Builder within the Microsoft Power Platform allows the businesses and developers to quickly and easily build and deploy custom AI models and to integrate with them with Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents in order to add advanced capabilities and improve data management and also the security. So it also allows to easily scale up and improve the performance of the models as well as easily integrating with other Azure services. So Microsoft has adopted Azure AI across a wide range of its products and services in order to improve the functionality, performance, and user experience. So some of the examples where Microsoft has adopted Azure AI at this scale, which includes Office 65, Dynamic 365, and Bing. Let's see all of them one by one. So about the Microsoft 365, Office 65. So the Microsoft has integrated Azure AI capabilities into Office 65, such as the natural language processing, computer vision, and text analysis to improve the functionality of the product, such as Outlook and Word. So this allows users to perform the task such as automatically summarizing long documents or automatically tagging images in email attachment. When it comes to the Dynamic 365, it is a collection of business applications that enable organizations to manage the customer data and interactions as well as automate business processes. So with Azure AI integration, Dynamic 365 offers the features like predictive lead scoring, sentiment analysis, and chatbots to help the businesses better understand and interact with their customers. When it's come to the Bing, so the Bing is Microsoft search engine uses the Azure AI to analyze the large amounts of data and improve the search result for users. So for example, Bing uses the natural language processing to understand the user's queries and generate a more relevant search result. So these are just a few examples of how Microsoft has adapted Azure AI at this scale within its product and the services. So overall, Microsoft has been using Azure AI across its various products and services and to improve the user experience and to offer the more personalized, efficient and automated experience to its customers. So now let's see this OpenAI plus Microsoft and about its generative AI also. So the Microsoft has a relationship with OpenAI to collaborate on the development of AI technologies. The partnership aims to accelerate the development of advanced AI systems and brings the benefits of AI to more people. So the Microsoft has partnered with OpenAI to deliver the three main goals, which are first one to utilize the Azure's infrastructure, including the security, compliance, and regional availability to help the users to build the enterprise grade application. Second one is to deploy the OpenAI model capabilities across the Microsoft products, including and beyond Azure AI products. And the third one to use the Azure to power all of OpenAI workloads. So the Azure OpenAI services gives the customers advanced language AI with the OpenAI GPT-4, GPT-3, Codex, and Dolly models with the security and enterprise promise of Azure. So the Azure OpenAI co-develops the APIs with OpenAI, ensuring the compatibility and a smooth transitions from one to the other. With Azure OpenAI, customers get the security capabilities of Microsoft Azure while running the same models as OpenAI. So the Azure OpenAI offers the private networking, regional availability, and the responsible AI content filtering. So GPT 3.5 or the 4 is for the next text completion, a set of models that can understand and generate the natural language. So the codex is a set of models that can understand and generate the code, including translating the natural language to code. So it is a descendant of GPT-3 that's been trained on both natural language and the code. And the Dolly is a set of models that can generate or manipulate images from natural language. So now we have all this background knowledge of Azure OpenAI and some of the models with it. So now let's go in the demo. But before going to the demo, let me explain you that as a part of Microsoft's commitment to using OpenAI responsibility, access to Azure OpenAI is currently limited. And the customer that wish to use the Azure OpenAI must submit a registration form for both initial experimentation access and gain for the approval for use in a production. And once you have that access, then it will be available in your Azure portal. So let's go in our Azure portal, and from there we will show you how you can just create this open AI resource. It is the same like other Azure resources we are creating. So you have to click on that create button. Then in the search, you have to search for that one Azure OpenAI. Once it is available over here, you will able to see this card of Azure OpenAI. And once you clicked on the create or click on it, then you have to click on the create. It will take you to some of the wizards and you have to add all of the details. The first thing is a subscription, then the resource group. You can just select the existing one or the create a new one. Then you have to select the region, and over here region is the main important thing, because whatever the region you are going to select over here, as per that you will able to utilize all of the models that are available with this Azure OpenAI. Note to over here, not all the models are available with all the region. For example, in our case we are going to use the dolly. That's the reason we are selecting the east US. Once you select the region, then you have to provide some of the unique name, and then you have to go for the pricing tier. So for the pricing tier, there is a one link is also available, so you can just click over there later and you can just go ahead and check for the pricing tiers. It will give you all of the details. You can just do the calculation in your region and you can select the currency, and whatever the models you are going to use, you will able to see all the details, and as per that you can just select your pricing tiers, and then you can just create. So to save the time, we have already created one resource group and we can just go directly over there. So once we clicked over here after creation, it will show you that OpenAI resource group, and over there there is a resource group, there is a status, there is a location which we selected the east US. As per that we will able to utilize all of the models. Then there are APIs available and the pricing tier, endpoints, managed care, all the details are available over here. So once you are here, then you have to go to the Azure OpenAI Studio. There is a link already available. Once you open that, it is taking somewhere you to the outside of the Azure portal, and link itself is a mentioning oai.azure.com. So over here, first thing is you have to select your models. Once you select the models as per your requirement, then you can just go ahead and do the deployment. So let's go to the model, and over here so all of the models are available as per the region you have selected. So you can just select any of the model, and there is on the top there is a deployment button, so you can do the deployment. Deployment will take the 5 to 7 minutes, and to save that time we have already done the deployment. So the purpose of this is a playground. So before going to any of the production changes directly, what you can do, you can just come over here, select your all of the requirements, select your models, do the deployment, and just play in a playground. Once you're happy with that, once you get your appropriate result, then you can just go ahead and implement the same thing in your production also. So once you come over here in this playground, you will able to see the three different sections, left, right, and the middle. So first one is the setup. So over here in the setup, you can see that what are these system message available. There is a template available. So if I clicked on the template, there are what are the templates available, you will able to see. So in my case, I'm not going with any of the template. I'm just keeping it as it is, but you can just do it. You can just select this as per your requirement, and everywhere there is a eye icon, that is the information icon is available. Then we have a system message. System message is nothing but the behavioral of the system. Let's say for example this one is something related to the cooking, so we can just provide a system message. Hey, it is going to help you for your day to day food activities, or anything kind of system message you can just provide. And then once you come down, there is some of the examples, so you can just click on the add button. You can just add the prompt completions, like the user and the assistant details, and you can just save over there. You can add multiple examples also. Once this starting setup is done, then there is a configuration part. The middle part we will come the later, because first I would like to explain you how the configuration works. So over here you can see the deployment model is available for us. We have selected this one and we have done the deployment for that. And then let's go to the parameters. So in a parameters, there is a max response. So in the information icon, again, it's available and it is showing that what exactly there is for this a max response. Then there is a temperature and there is a toppy. So I will suggest keep low temperature and toppy to get the proper relevant output, proper relevant messages. Yeah, so that way you can just do all of the setup, and once you done that the setup, let's go ahead in the middle part and then we can just do the testing. So first let me ask it that how to make a pizza, and let's see what exactly the answer it gives me. So how to make a pizza, it's nothing but the prompt I'm just asking, and then we will get a completion. Yeah, now you can see it has provided us all the recipes of the pizza, that what exactly we need and how we can just make it. Okay, so that's the about the information how you can just taste. And before going to the production, you have to click on the view code. So once you clicked on the view code, it is available in a Python, curls, and C sharp. So you can just select as per your requirement. So let me go with the curl, and over here you can see there are all the details are already available, like what exactly you are going to use, the API keys, API version, and the messages over here, the content type, the topic, temperature, everything is available over here. Yeah, so this way you can just test it in a playground, and once you are done with that, then you can just go ahead and you can just do the deployment implementation of the same in a production part.
All right, so now that we have understanding of Azure OpenAI as well as how we can go ahead, select our model, deploy those model, and again, this is the link from where we'll be able to go ahead and use this capability into our Power Platform solutions. All right, so let us switch back to the slides, and then we will see how we can use this Azure OpenAI chat completion API that we have seen with the Power Apps. Okay, so whenever now that we want to go ahead utilize this into Power Apps, obviously we need some kind of a custom connector through which we can consume that API and use that into Power Apps. Even not just Power App, even we can use this in Power Automate as well. So custom connector is nothing but it is just the wrapper around your API from where you can utilize the APIs which are exposed by the provider, and then you can use them into your Power Platform solutions. Okay, so with that, let's get into the demo and see like how we can do it. So in order to get to those custom connectors, you need to go to the Power Automate portal, make.powerautomate.com, and onto the left hand side here, you should be able to see custom connectors. So this is the place from where you will be able to get or create all of the custom connectors for your environment. Again, obviously, don't forget to change the environment if in case uh, you want to get the custom connector created for your specific environment. So custom connectors are to a specific environment. If you change the environment, you might not see them. Okay, so based on which environment you want to utilize that functionality, you can go ahead and create your custom connectors there. So this is a place where we should be able to see all of the custom connector, as well as now that if you want to go ahead create a new custom connector, there is an option to go ahead for creating a new custom connector. You can start from the blank. That means there will be a wizard which will help you to go ahead configure your custom connector, as well as there are other options like you can create from Azure service, which is right now in preview, or even you can import from OpenAI file or OpenAI URL, which is nothing but your Swagger file. So which we are also going to see. Again, if you want, even you can import it from a Postman collection, as well as there is a custom connectors which are available onto the GitHub. So you can just click on import from GitHub and you can select any of these certified or custom connector. Certified custom connectors are the connectors which are directly available from the organization who own those products and make their custom connectors available for Power Platform. Customs are the one which are maybe contributed by um, community contributors, and those are available there to use free. Here is a link to the repository from where you should be able to see all of the custom connectors available as well as their documentation. So either you can go to the certified connectors or custom connector, and from here you should be able to see all of the custom connector. Okay, so we do have few available for service now as well as others, but specifically the one that we are targeting for this demo is the independent publisher connectors. So for example, if you want to publish your own custom connector, even you can go ahead and do that. So here we do have one custom connector available for OpenAI, which we are going to use. So this is the one that we are going to target today. This one is again available from some of the gentlemen in the community contribution, and this using this custom connector will be able to consume the Azure Open AI kind of an resources or functionality into our Power Apps as well as Power Automate. So what you can do from here is you can choose the branch either dev or master. You can go ahead and select that custom connector. The one that we are going to do is the OpenAI. So we already have it created, but just wanted to give you the understanding from where you can go ahead and start creating those. Again, if you want to go ahead, start from blank canvas from scratch, you can always choose create from blank. So this is the custom connector that we have already imported from this URL, and we are going to use that. So in the custom connector, for for the users to locate the custom connector very effectively, you can obviously go ahead and upload the icon for that, so that it will give some kind of an authenticity to your custom connector to go ahead and use that. As well as don't forget to give the nice description here as well, because again, this is the description which is being picked up by your Copilot to go ahead and locate all of those custom connectors, or the custom we can say custom copilot in this case, because again, for example, if you are creating a custom connector, again, it can act as a custom copilot for your Microsoft 365 copilot capabilities. The other thing here is, if in case you are connecting to the on-premises data, you need to have on-premises data gateway setup, and you can configure by clicking this checkbox. Otherwise, you can select the scheme for your API, whether it is HTTPS or HTTP. The host is the URL where your entire information, or at least the entire resource, has been located. In our case, it is hosted onto the openai.azure.com, which you can see from here, openai.azure.com, or even from this URL, you can see that openai.azure.com. So the name prior to this is the name of your Azure OpenAI resource. Otherwise, the host will continue to be the same, like openai.azure.com. So which we have it configured here. Base URL, for example, if your resource is to a specific URL after the base URL, you can go ahead and specify that. Or after the host URL, you can go ahead and specify that. When it comes to the security, it is mostly about the authentication type. So like, in order to access the API, which is sitting behind here. So here you can see that this is the API that we are talking about. So if in case you want to go ahead and use this API, we obviously want to get authenticated, because since this is Azure Open AI, we cannot directly go ahead and hit that endpoint. There has to be some kind of an authentication. And that authentication in our case is happening through something called as an API key, which is line number 3 in our case. So in the header, we need to pass on that API key by passing on the key that is kind of an encrypted here. We need to pass on that key, and then we should be able to get authenticated against that API. All right. So now that, but again, there are various options as well. If in case your URL is public, you can go ahead with no authentication. Basic authentication is just for username and password, which is the very basic thing. API key is the one that we have seen. Through the API key, we'll be able to go ahead and authenticate ourselves. OAuth 2.0 is the modern kind of an authentication available if in case you are accessing any of the URL which is kind of protected by your Azure AD authentication. In that case, you can go ahead and use OAuth 2.0. In our case, we are going to use API key, because that is the way how we go ahead and consume the APIs which are sitting inside the Azure OpenAI. Definition is the thing that talks about all of the actions that we'll be able to perform from here. So from here, you can see that we do have various kind of an actions that we can perform. For example, chat completion, or maybe if you want to create any kind of an completions, or if you want to list all of the deployments that we have got, if you want to list all of the models which we have seen here. So there are APIs available. Obviously, we need to refer to the documentation which is available from the publisher for those APIs. And in our case, it is from the Azure, Microsoft Azure OpenAI. So they have got all those actions listed, and that's the reason we can just click on new action, and then we can get that action added. So this one again has got various aspects. We can have a summary description. Operation ID has to be very unique, with which we'll be able to go ahead and hit that endpoint. And again, there is a request and the response that we are expecting from that operation. So if in case you are using Postman, or maybe if in case you are just trying it from a browser, you can just go ahead and import that from a sample. Like you are interested in the get or delete or post or put or patch, all those kind of thing, and you can give the headers and body here. And in the response, you can add a response if in case you are specifically expecting some kind of a response. So let's say, for example, you have a URL or the REST API, and from where you are expecting email and name to get written, you should get it added so that when the API call gets completed, you will be able to go ahead and use those in your applications. So this is just nothing but the actions, all of the actions that we'll be able to go ahead and use for our code. So this is the AI plugin which I was talking about, which one will be available inside of your Microsoft 365 Copilot. So here you can give the name, description, and again, this one will be picked by as a metadata associated with your plugin, and then whenever you will hit the Microsoft Copilot, even it can come to this plugin based on the description, the keywords that you have mentioned into this description. Again, you can go ahead and use all of these actions here to locate that from the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Code is the thing, like for example, if you just want to go ahead and use this code into your .NET based or maybe PowerShell based application, you can do that. This is the thing wherein we have to create a new connection by giving the authentication mechanism, in our case the API key. So we can specify the instance name and the API key. Instance name is nothing but the name of our Azure OpenAI resource in this case. We can specify the deployment ID, and this is the place from where we can just go ahead, give the inputs for our input parameters, click on test operation. If it succeeds, obviously the connection is valid, and then we'll be able to use that. So just for the brevity purpose, I will skip that part because I know it works, and hopefully it should work in the demo as well. So I will quickly move to the Power Apps. So in the Power Apps, now that we are going to consume this custom connector that we have developed so far. So let me just open up the Power App where we have it created, and let me just open up that. So this is a very basic Power App wherein we just have got maybe three controls. One is the text box where user can go ahead, type their prompt, that means the input to the LLM. Then we do have a button to go ahead, hit that endpoint, which will call the custom connector, and then it will give us the result back. Once it gives the result back, we are using this label to show the result. Before I go into the implementation, let us go ahead and run this so that you will get fair idea. So this is not a simple app. This is kind of an sarcastic kind of an app. So obviously it has been designed or trained in a way like, or maybe it has been intended in a way that it should not go ahead and answer the question very simply, but it should answer in a some kind of a sarcastic way. Okay, so we will say like, I will ask the question, what is HTML? Okay, so HTML, everyone knows the full form, but let us see what kind of responses that we get from here. So I will just click answer me, and you can see that, oh, it's just the language that the entire internet is built on, not a big deal. Okay, so this is not the kind of responses that you should build, but if in case you want to take a revenge of someone, you can go ahead, train it in this way, and then it can do the trick for you. So let us go into the implementation and see how this one is implemented. So as I said, this is just a text input wherein we are accepting the input from our users, which we are going to pass to our custom connector. In turn, they will be passed on to the LLM, and then we will be expecting the response or completion from there. This is the button where we have all of the trick. So in this button, what we are doing is we are calling this Azure OpenAI service and onto the chat completion endpoint. So how this one is happening is like, now that firstly you need to go ahead and add that custom connector onto your Power App. So for that purpose, you can go onto the data tab, which is available onto your left navigation. Click on add data, and here we have got various sources from where we'll be able to get the data added onto your Power Apps. For example, you can add it from a table or from AI models. And lastly, here we do have connectors, which will also show your custom connectors alongside the other out of the box connectors which are available. And here you can see we do have this Azure OpenAI service, which we have it selected. And that's the reason whenever we go to the control, we are able to refer it to by name. So the name of this custom connector now is Azure OpenAI service. So that's the reason we can see it. And this is nothing but an action onto that custom connector. So for example, if I go back again here, and if you go into the definition, so this is the action that we have got, chat completion. Okay, so this is the action that we are able to see here, and all of these things which are nothing but the parameters to your action. So here we have got parameters like deployment ID, which is GPT 3.5 Turbo in this case, the version of our API version of um, that particular GPT 3.5 turbo model. And then here we have got the messages. So again, when we had explored the chat playground, we have seen that we can pass on the messages for a system, user, and assistant. So the same thing that you can see here, we do have a system and the content here. In the user message, this is the text input which has been entered by the user. We are just passing it out, and then we are expecting the output from there. So now that you can see that here we have trained this particular model to sarcastically answer the question, and that's the reason it is the behavior that it carries alongside to go ahead and answer those questions in a sarcastic manner. Again, you can go ahead, ask them to answer in a Shakespeare poem kind of an format or anything else. It will bake in that kind of an behavior into your operations. Okay, but this was a very quick example like how you will be able to use Azure OpenAI using custom connector into your applications. All right, so this was just about using the normal chat compression API. Now that quickly, let's see how we can integrate the Dolly kind of an images generation into the Power Apps. So Dolly is again nothing but another model available, and from this model, we can go ahead and generate the images. Okay, so now that let us go ahead. We do have the Dolly here. We can give some kind of a prompt, and it should generate an image for us. Okay, so let's say for example, I say dinosaur playing football, and it should go ahead and generate the image for us. So I will just click on generate, but while I do that, I will just I just want to watch the console window. So just have a look at this network tab of what are the activities which are going beyond the scene. So I'll just click on generate here, and then these are the calls which goes into the background, and these are the calls that we'll be able to use in our custom connector in order to go ahead and get the generated image, because in the background Dolly makes two calls. First call is to go ahead and uh, generate the ID for the image, and then it uses the second call. So here you can see that we do have first call which is going, and it is just giving us the ID of that particular image, and then again we go ahead and use the other call. It should be here somewhere, wherein we need to pass that ID, and then it will give us the actual image, and that is the reason like we see the image here. uh, Now that for example if you just want to quickly see this into a postman, so this is how it can be configured into the postman. So here we have a collection created as a dolly. Instead of that, we do have a request for prompt here. We do have this post method which you can obviously get from the portal. So if I go back and I click on view code, so, and probably I can just select the JSON. So here you can see that this is the URL that we should hit in order to get that ID. And again, we do have few parameters. For example, the prompt that that is the input for which we want to generate the image. We do have n, that means number of images that we want to generate, and this is the size of the image that you want to go ahead and generate. So what we will do is again, let me go back to the Postman. So this is the body that we are composing as like we have seen into the OpenAI. Then we do have authorization here. Oh, sorry, maybe I can go into the parameters. I'm just passing out the parameters as API version, the version which should be passed on to the Dolly model, which can act as a API version. So we do have headers here, and in the headers you can see that we do have that API key. So we pass on the API key to the header, and this is stored into the variable. Okay, so this is the thing that we have got. Now that if I go into the body, there is a body where we are composing that prompt, and if I send this particular request, it will just generate the ID. It will not generate the entire image. So this is the ID that we get here. We need to pass on this ID to another request, which is get image. So we need to pass on this ID here, and once you pass it on, again click send, and then it will generate the image for you. So this is the URL where that image is generated, and this is the image, or this is the URL which we are going to showcase onto our Power Apps to render the entire image. Okay, so now that this is another way how you can go ahead and use the Power Apps, oh sorry, Azure OpenAI, or maybe any of the external hosted APIs into your application. So for that, what you can do is once you have the collection selected, this collection includes two requests, one for post, one for get, which makes our operation complete. You can click on these three dots and you can click export. So once you click export, either you can select the collection version V2 or V2.1. Preferably, I will say select collection V2, which is supported into the custom connector, and just click on export. Once you do that, this will create nothing but a JSON file, which you will be able to go ahead and use into your custom connector. So for that, let me again go back to the Power Automate portal, and if I again go back to the custom connector, let us close that. You can click on new custom connector, click import postman collection, and then you can give that file and the custom connector will be imported. So this is how the custom connector will look like. This is the Dolly custom connector which has been imported from the postman. Again, it will take the host for you. It will under the security, it will get the API keys. Again, we do have a definition. These are the two definitions that we have created. One to have the post method to generate the ID for the image, and second one is to generate the image. And then again, you can go into the test it out that, and it should work. For that, let me again go back to the Power Apps and show you that in action how it works. So for that purpose, I will again go into the edit of that Power App, and then I can just show it to you. So before again I jump into the code, I will just run this Power App so that you will get a fair idea how this has been. This can be used into the Power Apps, and then we will go into the code. Again, a pretty much simple Power App. We just have got four controls. I don't think there are many other makers like me who just have three or four controls and generate the images. So okay, so we'll just give the prompt like wolf on a moon and just click
Uh,
generate image. So
when
once
we
we
take
click,
Nandip,
yeah,
it's
7 minutes.
showing 8 minutes. Yeah, just wanted to do a time check. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Yeah. All right. So here you can see that this is the prompt, and you can see the image getting generated by ID, and this is the ID that gets created, and you can see that image has been created as well, right? So let us quickly go into the demo. Let's see, because again, I have to also cover the Copilot Studio quickly. So we have got control wherein we are expecting the input from the user. We do have button to download that image, and we do have the actual image control which shows the data. Uh, we do have this button called as a timer kind of a button which has set to be a duration of 10 seconds just for the brevity. And then we do have the on click kind of an event here. So let's say, for example, when someone will click onto that image, again, the custom connector will trigger in, it will make a prompt call, and then it will go ahead and call the API. So once you call the API, you will get the ID. And again, once the timer is ended, we want to go ahead and generate the image by passing on the ID which was created into the previous response. So only reason here like I'm just playing a gamble. I'm just waiting for it to be 10 seconds, and in 10 seconds it should go ahead and generate the image for me. But even you can have a good logic here, like when the image ID is generated, you can go ahead and do that. But this is just the thing with which we can assume in 10 seconds the image will be ready to you and you can use that. All right, so this was a quick thing. Again, how we can go ahead and use the power of the Dolly images generation into the Power Apps. Now that let us quickly see all of those AI offerings into the Microsoft Copilot Studio. So again, if you have been using Power Virtual Agents, they have been now rebranded into the Microsoft Copilot Studio. Okay, so Copilot Studio is a conversational assistant that utilizes the NLP, that means natural language processing, as well as the NLU, natural language understanding, and as well the generative AI feature to assist and act as a co-pilot to the humans. Okay, and then we do have the Microsoft Copilot Studio, which offers tool for building as well as deploying the custom co-pilots that can enhance your employee as well as the customer experiences, right? So let us see like what kind of a solution architecture it carries. So maybe this is the company for which you are trying to create the Copilot. This one will have few number of employees, few number of departments. And then we do have this Copilot Studio. And here we are going to use the generative answer kind of a functionality, which is based on totally onto the AI. And then again, we do have various sources from where the data will come, and that one will be indexed and that one will be surfaced when the questions will be asked related to the data sources that we see here. So the data sources could be anything. It could be your SharePoint sites, even it could be any of the ServiceNow or any of the other system which does supports custom connectors or connectors through Power Automate, or even it can come from any of the website. And then once you have your bot or the Copilot ready, through the Copilot Studio, you can channelize that maybe onto the internet as a web chat based application, or maybe even use it in Microsoft Teams. So with that, let's see like how you can handle those unrecognized kind of an intents with generative AI. Okay, so for that, I will simply go to the Copilot Studio, which is available at copilotstudio.microsoft.com. So once you are here, we do have few of the things like you must have used this, so I will not spend time in going into the details of it. But mostly now that all of the copilots will be available here, and once you go into the any of the copilot, you can go into the settings of that. You will see the language understanding option here, and then from here you can select like how you want to go ahead and generate the responses for you. So first thing is normal NLU. That means all of the topics and plugins that you configure here. Based on that, it will generate. Otherwise, if you don't want to go ahead with the topics based generation, you can anytime select this as your cognitive service for language, and then it will be more towards the natural languages. Okay, and then again, for example, if you want to go ahead and have some kind of a dynamic chaining, in that case you can go to this generative AI, and here you can add the public website or SharePoint resources. But in order to do that, you need to come to this boost conversational coverage with generative AI, and you need to turn it on. Once you do that, let me just show you quickly. If I go into the topics and plugins, we do have few of the system topics here, and then I just have used the conversational plug boosting here. So conversational boosting will come into the picture whenever you want to go ahead and have the conversational boosting for your messages. So here we do have a few things like you can add the public website, or even you can add the SharePoint, all those kind of a thing. As well as even I did few things here, like for example, if it is not able to get to the get to the actual response, even you can do that into the fallback as well. So let's say for example, while it fallbacks to any of the human, you can go ahead and you can add those data sources here, and then you will be able to use that. So here you can see that in the fallback, I'm just I just have given the Toyota website here so that it can go ahead and try to give the responses from there if in case it doesn't find it anywhere. So for example, if I just ask like um, what are the hybrid cars available? Okay, so in this case, we don't have any kind of a source from where this information is coming. So obviously it will go into the fallback loop, and here you can see that this one has been triggering. And then based on the public website which I have configured here, it was able to get to that. Okay, and here even you can see those citations. So this is a very basic thing how it works, and I also wanted to cover few part onto how it generates the answers and processes. But quickly, we do have a Copilot Studio wherein you'll be able to create your own Copilot. You can get the data from the public data, maybe from SharePoint as well as Azure OpenAI, which is trained onto your data. Even you can upload your own documents here, and even if you want, you can just have the custom data in the format of a JSON, and simply you can use that. But okay, maybe considering the time that we have in hand, probably I will end the session. And with that, thank you very much all of the sponsors for sponsoring this event, as well as thank you all the organizers for organizing such a lovely event, and thank you all the audiences for attending it. Thank you, and back to you, Bhargav.
Yeah. Thank you.